Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis coming to you from the Drew Estate Studio. With me today is Seth Geis, and from the Bastani Studio, John McTavish. How you guys doing?
I'll cover the before part. John can do the after
I'll
part.
do the after part.
All right.
All right. So speaking of, today we are talking about the Eladio Diaz before and after Pasion. Cigars a Toro 6x52. Comes out of the Tabacalera Diaz Cabrera factory in the Dominican Republic. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Corojo. Binder is Dominican Habano 2000. Filler is Dominican Habano 2000, Piloto Cubano, Habano 92, and Broadleaf, blended by Eladio Diaz. Price point is $16, and the cigar was released in April of 2024. So with all that out of the way, Seth, what was your overall experience like with this cigar?
We just got to talk about the bands, man.
Yeah, can we please?
Go
Can
ahead.
we start with it?
Yeah.
It's
I
just
think we should.
people gotta stop doing this, man. You just can't take photos of this shit. You can't ever see any of these things. This looks like an old band, and I'm trying to.
It's like a Bahia band. Do you remember Bahia?
Yeah, I remember the Bahia
Yeah, I
bands.
do. It does look like Bahia, but there was like this band, this company. Where's fucking Coop when you need them? There was this
He had to leave and go
brand
on vacation.
from like 15 years ago that had like that white band with gold font over like a Colorado wrapper like this. And it was
Yeah,
like a smaller.
for those looking at the video, and I think Aaron took a really good picture because you can actually read it. But when you actually physically hold it in your hands, it is. I mean, listen, I know I'm getting older, but it is very, very difficult to make out the band because that gold is really lost in the white, and I think the font size is so small that yeah, unless you have a magnifying glass, it's actually really difficult to pick up some of the elements in that band.
Yeah, it's just one of those. Gosh, I'm just gonna remember it later on, but it just drives me insane. Other than that, the first third really started out with this musty barnyard mushroom flavor profile. There's some cedar nutty qualityness, some peppers, some sweet spices, just medium strength and body, little creamy pepper. I said peppery already. Um, Second, third just kind of delivered some of those similar qualities. There was some tobacco, still medium strength and body. It just had like this musty barnyard, earthy. There was some cream, cedar, spices. It was one of these things. I'm like, okay, it's a Dominican profile I could get behind. I was thinking about John while smoking it, wondering where we're going to be. Final third was a little cedar, creamy tobacco, still that musty barnyard, pepper spices on the finish, medium strength body. So burn and draw were kind of Dominican-esque. It's when you get this quality, so wasn't that great. So my experience was, John.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the points. Kind of started out with spices and wood at a very restrained level, and then, like Seth said, there's this kind of musty tobacco note. Kind of like I don't even know how to like any verbiage I want to use makes it sound negative. Like rotting leaves makes it sound bad, but it's like that sort of fall musty vegetal tobacco note. And it's not quite mushroom, and it's not quite rotting leaves. Somewhere between that, and that was sort of the retrohale, and it was at kind of medium full with spices and wood finishing. And then there was some breadiness that added complexity. And the spices kind of came and went, like like they were medium full to start out, and then I think they were kind of down around light levels by the time the cigar settled in. Overall, the first third, it was okay, but like those elements didn't really come together for me, so I was a little disappointed. And then second third, kind of creamy tannic wood, sharp tannic wood in the finish, bread in the retrohale. But tannic wood was kind of the carrier for the second third. There was some sort of a fruit sweetness that kind of offset that a little bit as it moved on, but for the most part, it was really wood forward. And then last third, earth and wood, earth on the finish, and it kind of lingered on the palate between each draw. Wood took on a little bit of bitterness at the halfway point, and then the profile is pretty much unchanged for the rest. So a little bit of a disappointment flavor profile wise for me. My construction was excellent. Burn had a little bit of waviness, but like you'd have to. I'm not going to dock it for that. It's like I'd hardly even notice it, and I certainly wouldn't need to intervene. And draw was perfect. So construction is on point, but the flavor profile wasn't really my jam. What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, for me, the cigar started with toasted cedar and a cinnamon forward baking spice. Baking spice transitioned to black pepper pretty quickly. Then the second, third saw some minerality join the profile for a bit and then departed, and then a vegetal note joined in. And the final third saw the toast level become pretty heavy. Average flavor profile throughout. Focused kind of mainly around that toasted cedar earth with black pepper. Had some accompanying notes that were present, but it really didn't elevate the profile to anything that was exciting. So that not a cigar that brought enough to make me want to come back to it. It's got a bit of a high price point, so just kind of not something I'm really want to come back to. All right, let's get into the scores. We're going to start at the top with Seth at 5.85. John gave it a 5.75. I gave it a 5.3. So Seth, how'd that 5.85 match up for you?
Yeah, I think it matched up pretty well. I think it was a good example of Dominican tobacco. I think it's kind of one of those. It kind of made me think of Eladio in the blend. There was that quality to it. Price is still a little high. Especially for, I think I want a little bit more complexity with the cigar for the price, especially just with the construction I had as well. So yeah. John?
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're a huge Dominican cigar fan, this might be right up your alley. I mean, this kind of, there's a lot of subjectivity here because I think a lot of the tobacco notes are all of the things that I don't particularly enjoy having Dominican cigar in there, so like someone who's a real Dominican cigar lover might go, oh yeah, everything you've just described is right up my alley. But I think for me, the score is fair. Construction is on point, but again, and not to harp on it, but if you're paying $16 for a cigar, it probably should be. So it's kind of a gimme, but bit of a miss for me. What about your own?
Yeah, my 5.3 matches up. Average flavor profile throughout. I had some burn issues with this cigar as well. Wavy burn, 2 touch-ups to keep everything going on, so that kind of knocked down even more. So yeah, the flavor wasn't good enough to make me want to come back to it, regardless of price or construction or anything like that. So there was just not enough going on to make me want to do it again. All right, final thoughts on this. We already kind of hit the band a little bit. Any other final thoughts?
Well, I'd really like one of these Eladio releases to be a banger for me.
Right?
I have a lot of respect for him, and I met him, and he's super knowledgeable, obviously, but it just doesn't come through in the cigars for me. And I keep trying him, and I'm like, maybe this is the one, but haven't found that one yet.
He's getting a little bit closer, but you were kind of, I think a lot of people were always hoping that it would be, maybe expecting that the first one was just going to be
a banger.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of comments too about all the departures and everything like that, but
yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying Davidoff's doing that great, but it's not like all of a sudden it's like, woohoo, grass is greener over here. So
all right. Wherever you're catching this video, be sure to like and subscribe, but check out the full written review on the website, developingpalace.com. Follow us on all the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts. So iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.
Pasion.